Hey everyone, welcome to the Permission to Play podcast, a creative talk podcast where you have permission to be creative and to experience everything that comes along with the process. We are your hosts, myself, Christina Story. We have Kyle Dallatore and Yelpy, and of course Lloyd Robeson. Let's get started.
Wait, let me make my bed.
Oh my god.
Shit. Oh my god, this is so bad. Oh my god, I'm an adult, I swear.
We don't know what the fuck's about to happen. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Permission to Play podcast. I'm Christina Story, and I'm here with my good friends. Hey guys.
Hello.
What's up?
Who are you?
Sup?
Oh.
I'm Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Oh,
Goddamn, man. What the fuck?
That's it. Yeah, I'm Kyle.
There it is.
Your introductions? Like, are we...
No.
I'm Kyle, and, like, my favorite color today is off blue. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
That was nice. Nobody wanted to know that.
They didn't. Nobody cared. I just feel
I did,
like I
though.
should have filled the space with something.
Does your color change daily?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. It's usually black, because black goes with everything.
So you choose your colors by what you want to wear?
I don't know what I'm doing with my life. These are like really deep questions that I have no answers to.
I'm so sorry.
No, this is good. I need to think about this stuff more.
Who's this other guy? I think...
Oh, I'm Yelpy, and I like ducks.
Oh, baby ducks.
You like Degs.
I
He
like
likes dead ducks.
I like ducks.
Sorry, not dead ducks. That's mean.
That was super mean.
Yeah, you went dark fast.
I
You
know.
went dark fast, I should
I know
say.
what's wrong with me. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't be
I feel like you have
No.
issues right now.
I think
Yeah.
we all have issues today. This is a fun, interesting
You
start.
got anger issues.
Yeah, that's
okay.
possible. There's a lot of
Still love you, Lloyd. A
Got
lot.
Yeah.
got a lot of pent up stuff today.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of all that,
Ain't nothing pent up on this side, you know?
oh, well, good.
I don't know what he means.
I don't know what I mean either.
Oh, wow.
Family and friends.
Yeah. On that note,
Good segue to family.
this is a segue to a family. This feels like a family, and we are friends. So there's that. What do you guys do if your family and or your friends don't support you as an artist? Has that ever happened to anyone here? Have you experienced anything like that?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm with Yelpy.
Yeah, I have. I've experienced people who are just like, and it's just about concern. It's just, they don't want you to maybe they don't see your big picture most of the time, and they're not seeing what you see in your own head. So, luckily, the people that have been like not so sure about it are still it's a quietly, we just don't talk about it. And we just don't mention what I'm doing with my life, which is fine because I really don't need that, got enough voices in my head. I don't need like an actual other voice to be like, hey, you didn't think of this negative thing either, but now let me plant that in your brain.
Ooh.
Nobody else has anybody that's like, no, this is probably like either just doesn't see your vision like you do, or is like, okay, but when are you gonna like do like a real thing now?
Yeah, fortunately, I've been blessed with a wonderful family that is extremely supportive. But that comes from a lineage of artists. I have a lot of artists in my family. My father was an artist before he went to prison. And, my mom, not so much an artist, but she is very supportive of me and following my dreams. My grandma was also an artist in her own right. And so most of my family have been very supportive of me and or are also pursuing some art themselves. I do have friends who, although I do have friends who I have spoken to about this, and they do have family members who maybe don't come from an artist background, but more of a traditional path uh, for income. And so they talk to me a lot about their trials and tribulations of dealing with their family pressures and trying to understand how people don't get their path and don't understand that their life is their life, even though they're thinking I'm trying to do the best for you and trying to remove those blocks that you're going to hit as an artist as you go along by trying to pressure you into following the traditional path and or having a backup plan and are doing something else with their life that will help sustain them and their future families to come.
Hey, Lloyd, can I ask, you said you had family members that were kind of in the arts. Like, what did your dad do? What was his, like, medium?
He is a singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
He was at one point in time with Motown, and but this was a long time ago. I mean like a brief time. He was really into his art and singing, but at some point, life happens and people end up where they end up.
But and you said your grandmother was in the arts too?
Yes.
But
in a totally different way.
What does she do?
My grandma is just an artistic person in herself, but she loved music, and her life rotated around music a lot of times, especially growing up in DC and the East Coast in North Carolina. She was really into the music scene, and so that was basically her background. But so yeah, my grandma was mainly just into the artistic scene herself. I don't know if she had an extreme artistic ability, but her love for the arts is unmatched.
So can I ask everyone, like, around the friends and family thing, and Christina, actually, before, like, is there anybody in your life that is, like, either like, no, or like, is everybody like, yeah, go for it?
It's been an evolution, and that was something I wanted to ask you guys as well, because you talked about, Lloyd, friends that you had that dealt with that problem, and it made me think if that's a thing that occurs more when you're young, with family specifically, and if that sort of support evolves as the person evolves, because that's kind of my story, and you can choose to answer that too if you want later. But I think it was a struggle in the beginning, probably because I was, what you were saying, Kyle, in that I probably didn't have the explanation for, like, my vision wasn't clear enough. I just knew what was in my heart, so it was hard for me to communicate the attachment I had to that. I was very shy as a kid, but very strong-hearted. Hearted, not hard. That I always was very passionate about things, but I had a hard time feeling comfortable communicating that when I was really young. So I think my parents were probably just worried for me, in whether this is something that, whether this was the right path for me, whether this really was something that I wanted to do, whether this really was who I was. Probably because I have so many interests as well, that they were like, well, you could do any of these other things. Why choose to be an actor? Because that was the original artistic choice path to pursue. I was very interested in psychology and sociology and all these other things as well, which makes sense as an actor too. You're very much diving into, the human mind, the human nature, human emotion, all that stuff goes well with learning about psychology. But I knew that I needed to pursue my creativity, and I knew that that's just what I just knew I had to do that. I just had to do it, and went to college for it. And all through the 5 years or so that I was in college, they fought me about it the whole way through. And I don't think it was until I was an adult, maybe, let's see, I want to say maybe like 8 years ago or so. And there is a moment when I finally felt like they were kind of okay finally with who I was and what I was doing with my life. Because I remember talking to my dad over a drink at your favorite restaurant, Kyle, at LGO. And it's the first time I ever heard my dad say to me, I want you to do whatever makes you happy. And it's the first time I felt like just kind of liberated from trying to prove myself to like my dad or my mom, especially my dad. So it was an evolution is the short of it. So has anyone experienced any type of evolution like that? Anything where people have grown along with you to kind of see you move forward in your dreams, in your pursuit, what you're pursuing?
No, I mean, I've been supported from the start, really. I can't really complain. My family's all, my mom's side is all artists. My mom, my sisters are all artists. My dad and my brother aren't, but they love that stuff. I mean, my whole family kind of lives vicariously through me anyway. So,
That's nice.
like one thing I will say, my dad used to always say, just make sure you have a fallback thing. He always would say that, but he was just by the by about it, you know. But it was never an issue for me because I was always very technical and my hobbies were always design and stuff like that. So I always did graphic design anyway, and I probably made more money than most people actually out of that. So that was never a thing. I always had something else that I did, so it was never really. So people didn't care what I was doing because they knew I had other things I could do. So, so maybe that's part of it.
That's an interesting topic, sort of subtopic too, is what do you guys think about backup plans, like a plan A and a plan B, and which is which? Is that something that there's that all-in mentality, or that there's that other idea of like, no, you should really prepare so that you can do what Yelpy did and find something else that you can do that you're good at, that you can stand, that will make you enough money to sort of live while you pursue? Or do you just go head forward all in and just put all of your eggs in one basket?
Well, I think personally, I couldn't have gone all in because I would have no money, and
Right.
everything I do costs money. Like everything I do, there's nothing I do like just to record one song, $5,000. It's like so it's impossible. Like there's no way for me to be where I am now if I didn't make money some other way. It's just impossible. Unless I wanted to do something like play wedding gigs or something like that. But that was never attractive to me. I actually enjoy graphic design more than I do any of that stuff. Like if I had a choice to play covers or be a wedding singer or something like that, I'd pick graphic design because that stuff that's not an artist to me. That's like more a musician or kind of a I don't know. It's not what I wanted to do. I want my desire is to write songs and play them. That's my one desire, and the other stuff is not that at all. It's like a completely different thing. So yeah. So for me, and even if I did go do gigs and stuff, the amount of gigs I would have to play as a cover artist just to make a week of what I would get paid as doing graphic design is insane. So it makes no sense for me. It made no
And
sense for me.
I also feel that that term is dated because of technology and the way things are moving forward. The backup plan was because there were skilled crafts that people could go into that had nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
You were a singer, you were a singer. You didn't know how to operate a board. You weren't an engineer. You didn't know how to record. You didn't know any of that. You were a singer. You came in and you sung. But the lines of all of this have blurred because the reach for an artist to complete things is totally out there and available for everybody. As an actor, I can also edit, but that's helping me when I also shoot films. And I'm going out there producing and writing and doing my own work which is a variety of skills that in the past weren't achievable. Now, I learned how to edit through YouTube and trial and error. So now, as an actor, I can also shoot my own stuff, edit my own stuff, but also use my skill as an editor that I gained to help promote myself to make money off of. And so it's not technically a backup plan. It's just that I have learned a variety of skills that can supplement my artistry, but not deviate from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's diversification. We have that ability now to, and I love that you brought that up, because it does blur the lines. It does make what you want to do, what you want to say as an artist more accessible, because you can trial and error a lot easier than you used to be able to. You didn't have to be an intern or somebody's protege, or, it was much harder to break into those types of roles. Or it would be extremely expensive to trial and error on your own before. So you're right. There's an accessibility now that allows us to really diversify that bubble, whatever it is that you're pursuing. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Where I come from, they just call that hustling, baby. Because I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Yeah, I think for me, I was always interested in all that stuff. So I used to always say, my hobby is what made me money, and my profession is what never made me money. So I consider myself an artist, like a musician, singer-songwriter. I've always called myself that, but my hobby has always been design and graphic design. And it just so happens that my hobby was what made me money for a good portion of my life. So I don't know. It's exactly. For me, it wasn't a fallback. I was doing that anyway. So
That's great. What do you think, Kyle?
I think that in terms of backup plans, this is just for me personally, I just don't want it. Like, I know that if I like that feeling of there's nothing else out here. So I got to be all in. I got to go for it. Now, what everybody's talking about, like a day job. Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of, to me, that's a difference than a backup plan. Backup plan is like, I guess what I had originally, before, for the first part of the artistic experience. It's like, yeah, I had, the musical theater thing, but in the back of my head, I was like, no, but I've got to, if this doesn't work out, I've got this kind of plan. So didn't work out, did the other plan thing. And it was like, yeah, it was good for a while. Other plan, good time in life, learned a lot of things, was able to totally reset. So it's all good. But now
plan?
Which one?
Your other plan.
Oh, my other plan was to just go into the bartending field until I could figure out what I wanted to do, academically, something super academic that was not a musical theater degree, something like business, or do I go back and get my master's, or, do I kind of wanted to go into the, 401k world where I had some security and, everything I was doing, the quote unquote adult responsible thing. That's just like we talked about before. I grew up in a family where that was really important, and I didn't really grow up around artists. So that was it was kind of brewing anyways. So I became a national sales trainer for my medical device company, something that I'm totally underqualified for and should have never gotten. Might want to edit that out because I'm not sure how the company would feel about that. but
I don't know that that's true, Kyle. I think you're very qualified.
I don't know, man. I was telling surgeons how to do things, and I was like, I'm a music, I haven't taken math. I failed.
They all should be fired.
Failed every math class I ever took. Did terrible in science, and now I'm in the medical field.
So the PSA here is do not get surgery, because who knows?
No, seriously, you don't even know. You could have somebody like me being like, yeah, this is kind of what you do.
Because you'll have a musical theater major telling you what to do.
No joke. No joke.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. It's like people's lives on the line. I'll sing you a song. They did this in My Fair Lady, I think.
What should we do here? I don't know, but
I don't know.
I have 10 Neil Simon monologues ready.
Ready to go. Ready to go. I'll deliver one.
Oh
my God.
Anyway, so
That's
yeah, that
funny.
was the backup.
Okay, so like if you guys had, if you had to have a backup plan, like what would it be? I mean, as far as, you know, it seems like we all come, we have all come from different backgrounds and different pressures or lack of pressures and stuff like that. If I would say if there was something, let's say we're in a totally different world where you had a backup plan that was completely different than an artistic point of view, what do you think that backup plan would be?
I think it's weird for me. I consider myself. It's just like the question for me would be more which one is making you money at this time, like because I kind of do both all the time. So because one's my hobby and one's my passion. So I kind of do both all the time. So it really isn't a question of which one do I switch to. I'm always doing them. So it's just a question. Oh, this one's making me money today, and this one's making me money tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
For me, so it really doesn't.
So nothing would change, is what you're saying.
Engineer, yeah, nothing would change.
I mean, I'll always play music even if nobody's listening.
Yeah, if this was a totally different world, I think I would be like a land surveyor or an engineer of some type. Maybe I would say a travel agent, but
a pilot.
They're obsolete now.
I
would for sure be a pilot. I would love to be an astronaut. If we could do a different world and I wasn't blind in one eye, I would for sure be an astronaut.
You're blind in one eye?
Yeah.
Which eye?
I did not know this.
How have you never told me this? Lloyd, you've never told me this.
I'm legally blind in my right eye. That's why they called me Sleepy on the basketball team. Because I'd be sleeping sometimes and I'm dribbling on my right side, sleeping, not like actually like knockout, passed out, like sleeping as in like that's a weakness. I couldn't really see, so they call it sleeping.
I would just call you One-Eyed Lloyd. Like, why didn't anybody ever call you that in the basketball team? It's way more apt.
Well, he has two eyes.
One-Eyed Lloyd. No, yeah. It's got to be quick and easy, right? Like
Sleepy.
Like who's a character with one eye? Hook? No, Hook has a hook.
But you know what, Lloyd? In your defense, I did not catch that right away either. Like I was like, yeah.
It's like,
no.
So I'd be an astronaut. I would totally be an astronaut if this was a different world and I could if I had to choose another career path for myself that was totally different than being an actor. I would be an astronaut.
I would be so many things. Like if this were another
pick
world.
One.
I would be.
That's the hardest point. You can't do anything. You'd have to pick one and go for that one as hard as you go for the things that you do today.
Maybe an archaeologist?
Ooh,
nice.
Do you have a whip in this scenario?
Sure. If
nice.
that makes you happy, LP. I didn't know. This show just completely took a turn. Can we get back onto
I think I would be a pilot because I kind of did that anyway. So.
What? When were you a pilot?
Wait, what?
Well, I wasn't a pilot, but I did lessons. I flew planes and helicopters.
What the fuck? This is amazing.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Man, all right. That's really cool. Something we did not know about you.
I love the reveal that's happening right now.
Yeah, I know.
This is turning into a... Sorry. Were you... Lloyd, did I interrupt you?
No.
I was going to say this is turning into a Second Lives episode again.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, always been fascinated with flying.
I've been wanting to take lessons. Anyway, yeah.
Brilliant.
The helicopter. That's what I would love to do, is fly a
It's
helicopter.
really hard. Helicopter is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially when you're hovering it. Just hovering it. Hardest thing.
That's crazy. What about you, Kyle?
Man, like, I hate that I'm gonna say this right now because everybody was great and like pick something, but I can't pick anything. I don't want to live in that world. Like, no, I'm really like, sorry, I know it's bad. It's such a cop out, but I'm serious. Like, I really can't think of anything like that I would rather be doing. Like I already cut. Yeah, like this is it, man. Like this is it.
That's kind of great. I think that's great.
Yeah, but I just copped out of the answer, so I feel like an asshole.
You did completely cop out.
I know.
That was a complete cop out. Because it's not even real life. It's just fake life.
I know, but it's still like I can't even go there. Like it's weird. I suck.
Okay. So if it's your fake life, what would you add?
Nice.
Money. I would add money. Would add money. Lots of money. Just like Yelpy said, to do your stuff takes a bunch of money.
But just money? You would be doing the exact same thing you're doing now, but with just money? Or would you want a bigger platform?
No, that would be great, but I'm just I'm collaborating with people that I absolutely respect and love, who've become family. I'm making music that it's this is fun and this is amazing, and days are good. I'm really living my best life. Knock on wood, life changes, so I'm living my best life now. But I would really like some money, because that would make things a lot easier. Because money, just the no money is slowing down the process. It's still gonna go, but it's just slowing it down.
Yeah.
Just need to find creative solutions. If anybody's rich out there and doesn't want their money, you have 4 people that need your money for something, and we will use it wisely.
Very well.
Wisely as we can. So,
that being said, this is my last question.
Go fund me.
Yeah. Can we just do a...
This GoFundMe page will be in the link at the bottom of this.
Hey man, shameless self-promotion. I get that. If you guys want to give money, great, but please don't. No.
We could start a Patreon for this if you guys want. Just
maybe if we get to that level at some point, but
Kyle's taking all the money. Don't fucking think it's going to anybody else.
Stop it. I wouldn't do that to you guys. I'd give you most of it.
We'd all donate it to Kyle.
What's your question, Christina?
My question is, well, I guess there's 2, but the first one is, what kind of advice would you give people that might be struggling with either should I do what I love? Should I just do what I love? What's in my heart as an artist? Or how do you deal with the family problem of people not believing in you?
First of all, you should always do what you love. If you're not doing that, then might as well just die. There's no point in being around if you're not doing what you love. Second of all, it's not your responsibility to live other people's lives for them. So really it's a rhetorical question, really. You've got to do what you love. There's only one answer to that question.
Love it.
I would say this, that I know in a perfect world we can all do that, but I know there are certain circumstances that put us in situations where we can't do what we love and we have to do what we do and need to do to survive, literally survive and take care of others. Mm-hmm. What I would suggest if you are in that situation would be, the world has opened up and money can be made in a variety of ways. And like we spoke about earlier, the skills to be learned are easily accessible. And so there are tons of avenues, free college programs online, YouTube pages that will teach you different skills and arts. And there are ways to do what you love and make money off of it. It might not be exactly doing what you love, but if you are in that realm, you can provide and help yourself doing those skills. You just have to put the time and the effort and give over to the ultimate knowledge of the avenue you want to join in. as an actor, my ultimate knowledge is knowing every avenue, producing, directing, set design, costume, learning all about every single aspect of this art form has helped me. And it'll help anybody, because then you can jump in anywhere you need to be. And those skills are out there for you.
Like I would say, like you can do what you love. You, no matter how poor you are, you can do what you love. But you gotta make, you gotta still make money, obviously. But that doesn't mean you can't do what you love. Like for example, for most up until I was maybe 21, I did every single job under the sun. Everything. I did all the retail shit, did everything. And and I didn't complain. I did them all, got minimum wage, and I did what I love at the same time. Actually, what I used to do is I used to work for 6 months every year. I would work 6 months. I wouldn't spend a penny, didn't drink, didn't smoke, had no vices, saved every single penny, took the rest of the 6 months of that year off and played gigs nonstop. That's what I did. And, you know, I did what I love. And I also did this other shit that I don't love. But hey, that made me be able to do what I love. And then as time goes on, you figure a way to either do both or do one, whatever works for you, whatever way you can balance it. There's no wrong answer, no wrong approach. As long as you're doing what you love, you can be doing that in tandem with something else or by itself, whatever works. As long as you're doing what you love, it doesn't matter. You can do all those shit jobs with a big fucking smile on your face as long as you're doing what you love. Like you can go into the shittiest job, big smile on your face, you know, doing shit. And knowing that when you go home, you're doing what you love and make you happy with that. I don't think it's a big problem for people to, you know, people make it a big problem. You can make it very simple. Go do what you love. You want to make money as well, do that too at the same time, balance it out. That, you know, you'll figure it out. Like it's not that hard. I think.
Super easy.
It's not that hard. It's not.
It doesn't have to be.
Sure.
I would say that for people that are making it hard, you have to stop and ask yourself why. Yeah, and you have to really... What's that?
Yeah, you have to say, like, how is it you're making it hard for yourself? Like, what is it you're doing?
Yeah, what is it that's getting in the way? You know, things get in the way. And usually it's ourselves or something that we've created in our mind that we think is going to make something impossible. Maybe it's because you are surrounded by friends and family in a society that tells you that it's really hard, it's too hard, it's impossible, that's a 1% success rate. Like, you know, if these are the messages that you're used to, then you've got to figure out whether you subscribe to that or not. And if you decide, and if you do and you're not happy with that, then you really have to ask yourself, do I want to subscribe to that? Is there another reality available than this one? And how do I get over that hump? You know, it's really about asking yourself those questions if you're stuck in that place of the how do I do this? How do I make this work? Like, because at the end of the day, you know, what Yelpy said is, it really is that simple, because it's about making a choice. And then you figure out what choice you want to make. And then you figure out what are the steps I need to take to make that choice. But if you can't even get to that part, it really starts with figuring out what's stopping you. And it can be a million things, but it usually originates with fear and messages you've been hearing that aren't necessarily true.
There's another trap that people, I've noticed, you know, artists and friends, I've noticed people fall into this trap of either they think they should be what they want to be right away, or they have been what they wanted to be, and then they go through the slump, and then they're like trying to get back to where they want to be. And their pride gets in the way. So, for example, like if you don't let your pride get in the way, then you'll always be fine. Because even if you go through a period of time where you're like you've got no money and the thing you're doing isn't working out, you can do something else while you're doing that. There's no shame in like working in Starbucks or whatever the fuck it is. Like, don't, you know, you're not too good for that. Like, you can do that and then be back on top in no time. You know what I mean? You got to be able to, like, I don't know.
To be humble, yeah, to find the humbleness in that and to learn that lesson too, for sure. You're right. And again, that's just another version of, expectations and us getting in our own way for whatever reason. But yeah, you're right. That happens a lot, especially if you were somewhere and then you have to take steps backwards and you feel like if I walk back, I'll never be able to walk forward again. And that's just not true.
I mean, you're the only person putting that in your brain. Nobody's sitting there judging you, and if they are, you shouldn't know them. I mean, if people are sitting there judging you for that, get rid of them. Move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think?
I think so. The original question is, do you have any advice for somebody who's kind of within your family or friends if you are dealing with somebody resistant? And first of all, you guys' just advice is so wonderful and so beautiful. Like, it's super fucking inspiring. You guys are awesome. So thank you for that. And I think it would just be kind of an echo of what you guys have said, with just the one addition of, if these people are your family and they're your real friends, it's probably just concern. And like, it's nice to prove somebody wrong in the most loving way possible. It's you can use it to your advantage to be like, all right, I'm going to prove to you that I can live, fine. I can do my dreams, and maybe you can inspire others to do the same. So just say, like, if those people really love you, they want you to be happy and successful at the end of the day.
That's really nice. Yeah. So my other question was, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
Yeah.
Or teleportation. That equally is.
But you don't get the flying feeling,
Yeah, I like the idea of flying.
Yeah, I'm with Yelpy, flying. Definitely flying.
I was going to say that too. I've had a lot of flying dreams. It feels very natural, which is weird to say.
Have any of you ever jumped, done skydiving?
No, I'm scared of heights, which makes no sense, but the flying feels good.
because skydiving is the closest.
Have you done it?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Oof, oof, oof.
I really want to do it. Nick and I were super close one time.
Let's do it.
We want to. We do. We want to. It's just,
Go now. So put your shit down. Go.
Yeah. Just fun. Okay.
Like right now. Bye.
Right.
Just kidding. Lloyd?
Okay. Manifestation.
You can do that now.
Manifest anything.
Wow.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
If I was, no, you can't. I wish you could, because I
can.
would do it.
Strange type thing.
You can. I'll teach you.
More like almost like the Green Lantern, but better.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
That way you can manifest anything. You want to fly, you can fly. You want a house, build a house. If you want to go in outer space, huh?
The real I'd wish for another genie answer.
Yeah, totally.
I'd wish for more wishes.
Yes, that's so legit though, Lloyd. That's the greatest loophole in forever. I'm gonna have to remember that in case the situation.
Manifestation. You can do anything you want to.
Yeah.
Anything you want, ladies and gentlemen. That's my superhero power.
You want. I dig it.
Go outer space, you go outer space. I mean, you can create anything. You manifest like light speed. You can go all over the universe. You can go anywhere.
But could you manifest something that isn't within your knowledge yet?
Every superpower has a weakness. So that your weakness is the limitations of your own mind.
All right.
So solid.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening from all of us here at Permission to Play podcast. We hope you invite a little more creative space and permission into your day. We'd love to hear what you think by leaving us a review on iTunes. Please subscribe and share, and you can also find all of us on social media. Till next time, and don't forget to play.